Good morning. Welcome this morning on this chilly Tuesday morning, October 26th. Barbara Richardson, welcome to you. Yeah, we don't get our time change for another couple of weeks, so we got to deal with the darkness in the early morning, but it's okay. The sun will come up while we are enjoying our time together. Jim and Kathy, good to see you. Janisa, welcome. Wendy Chadwick, good morning to you. And Jeremy, if you're also there. Let's see, Stephanie Ellis, good morning. Someone's watching from our Grace Fellowship site. Is that you, Jonathan? Or Sierra? One of you. Only a couple people have access to that. Lori Agassi, good morning. Karen Faust, good morning. Stephanie Ellis, good to see you. Steve Hauser and Andrea, if you're there too, good morning to you both. We are in Psalm 56 this morning. Jonathan, good morning to you. Welcome. I see that you're up bright and early this morning, Jonathan. You're down here at the church building already. There's something about coming down to the church building early in the morning. I love it. I do it every Sunday morning for sure, but sometimes other mornings too. It's just the quiet of that space is nice. Karen Lowe, good morning. Daryl and Suzanne, good morning to you. So several of your names Facebook has attached to your name the designation anniversary follower. I don't know what that means. Does that mean that you have been watching the live stream for more than a year? I don't know. If that's true, thank you for your faithfulness. And let's see, Debbie King, I see you. Carmen Lego, good morning. Denise Ankar, welcome to you. Hope you guys are all recovered and everything from the wedding and all of that. Richard Van Allen, good morning. So I am in, see now Richard is a milestone follower, it's telling me. I wonder what these mean. You Facebook, people that have more knowledge about these things, maybe you can enlighten us. What is an anniversary follower and a milestone follower? What do those designations mean? I'm in Psalm 56 this morning, and I wanted to touch base a little bit about just our emotional ebbs and flows. So I said yesterday that I was emotionally flat yesterday morning, and certainly that was true. And I did not recover the rest of the day. I was emotionally flat all day long, yet I had a full day that I needed to do things and so on. And in those spaces, I'm less creative. I don't have good solution-oriented thinking. I had several meetings yesterday, and I guess what I wanted to do this morning, because I woke up in a better than yesterday, but in a similarly emotionally low state. I won't say as flat as I was yesterday. I feel much better today, and I'm sure that my emotions will. I get a sense that they're going to bounce back today a bit. So I wanted to address the ebb and flow of our emotions today, and just from my own anecdotal experience, and how I deal with them, because everybody deals with it, right? I deal with ups and downs of my own heart, but I have grown in the last few years to have a different perspective about them than I have most of my life. And so what do you do when you are experiencing depression, in the sense of a natural dip in our emotional state, where we feel drained, we feel lethargic, we don't have any creative energy, and so on. So I do several things that I've developed habits in more recent years that have been very helpful to me. And I just want to pass those along, and I'm gonna bring Psalm 56 into this as well, because the scriptures are a part of my strategy when I'm dealing with depressed emotions. First of all, I endeavor to, I feel them. I want to move in and feel these emotions. Historically, I would suppress them, distract from them, numb, medicate, blah, blah, blah. Whatever I could to not feel these uncomfortable emotions, this kind of depressive state. I wanted to be happy. I wanted to be energized. I wanted to think positively and so on. And there's nothing wrong with that desire. But I believe that God also speaks to us in these more difficult emotions, these more uncomfortable times, just as much as he does when I'm feeling energized and excited and up and all of that. And so I'm learning to move in and feel those emotions when they come. Feel them. Now, I don't always know why my emotions kind of dip. I think I have a pretty good idea why they did yesterday. I had a fairly emotionally driven week. The weekend was full, and Sunday, both the 9 a.m. and the 10:30 were kind of emotionally driven topics for me. So it's not surprising to me that I kind of bottomed out a little bit on Monday, and it took a while for my emotional energy to return. It's still on its way back up. So I move in, first of all, I move in to feel those emotions. It's okay. I'm going to feel them, and I'm going to feel them non-judgmentally. Historically, in the past, I would always judge these kinds of emotions. Like, I ought not to feel them. What can I do to get out of them? How can I escape from what I'm feeling? It's just uncomfortable. I want to be comfortable. I want to be happy. And I would get angry about these kinds of emotions. Like, why are they happening? And so I was thinking, I thought very judgmentally about them. And I'm learning to not only move into them and say, this is okay, this is natural, this is healthy, this is good. I do so with a spirit of compassion, acceptance, non-judgment. And that's helpful to me to navigate it, because it's not fun. It doesn't feel good to be depressed. I'm not talking about clinical depression, right? I'm talking about the natural dips that we have in our emotions that don't feel good, and so on. First thing I do, feel the emotions, and do that non-judgmentally. The second thing I do, and I alluded to this yesterday in my devotion, is I invite God into this space with me. He cares deeply about me, and he is right there with me, whether I'm feeling like I'm soaring on the top of a mountain or I'm in this dark valley. We have to understand theologically that God is right there. He's never left. He is revealing himself in intimate ways to me, even in those difficult times, emotionally difficult times. And I'm practicing how to jump from that theological understanding to a heart understanding of his presence. And this is where I think the Psalm 56 is helpful. Psalms like this. So David, in this context, he's the psalmist here in Psalm 56, God has delivered him from some recent near perilous experience with the Philistines. That's just happened. That's kind of the note that the Bible writers give us at the beginning of the psalm. That's the context. I didn't go any deeper than that. I just know that David's come out of some perilous time and he feels like God's delivered him. But he says some things about God and reveals some things about God's character in the midst of this that I think is important. It applies to me when I'm going through an emotionally difficult time. So here's some of the wording of it, beginning with verse 1. Be gracious to me, O God, for man tramples on me. All day long an attacker oppresses me. So in David's context, it's a very real threat. In my context, I have to remove that idea because it's not really why I'm feeling depressed. But there is a threat. These hard emotions, these uncomfortable emotions feel a little threatening. I don't like them there, but they are there. Verse 3, when I am afraid, I put my trust in you. So this is the point I'm making, that in these times of difficulty, hardship, in his case, physical threat and real fear, for me, just yesterday and today, just these kind of depressed emotions, where do I go? I run to the Lord. I invite him into this space with me. David says, when I am afraid, I put my trust in you, in God, whose word I praise. In God I trust. I shall not be afraid. What can flesh do to me? So he is coaching himself. This is the self-talk that David uses to introduce truth to his heart. He's feeling afraid. That's what his emotions are experiencing. He has a very real threat against him. Fear is the right emotion to have in that context. And so he speaks truth to himself, saying, I'm going to put my trust in God, and because he alone can deliver. He is the one who will protect me in these circumstances. And he goes on to talk about how difficult his time is. I won't read those verses, and how he's kind of struggling emotionally. But I'll just say it relates to how I was feeling yesterday. Then he moves to this in verse 8, talking about the character of God and God's response to him in this state. He says, you have kept count of my tossings. I think in other translations it says you have kept count of my wanderings. I think about tossings as immediately my mind went to not being able to sleep very much at night. So you're tossing and turning at night because your normal peaceful patterns are disrupted. I could be wrong about that. That's what I was thinking in my devotional ideas this morning. And he says this, you put my tears in your bottle. That's an interesting picture that I really enjoyed. It's a very comforting picture. You put my tears in your bottle. You have a bottle that you own, that you treasure, that is filled with my tears. You see me. I invite you in because you know me. Honestly, God knows me better than I do. And I ask for him to reveal to me even things about myself that I'm not understanding. And in the process, I ask, God, reveal yourself to me. And this verse was really helpful about God's compassion, moving close. He puts my tears in a bottle. He goes, are they not, they referring to the tears, are they not in your book? He's recording my tears. I love this. I used to do this when my girls were little. If something was upsetting them and they were crying, one of the things I would do is kneel down with them. I'd get eye to eye with them, and I would ask them, can I have your tears? They're like, what? What do you mean? It's like, please, can I have them? And I would take my hand and I'd wipe a tear off their face, and I'd pretend like I put it in my pocket. I want to keep these tears. These tears are precious to me. And I was just trying to be a dad and communicate my wanting to be with them in that space. And oftentimes that act would produce a smile, and it would cheer them up a bit. But it kind of reminded me, I'd forgotten about that, and this morning's psalm reminded me of God doing that for me. When we're struggling, it's like, hey, I see every tear. In fact, I keep them in a bottle. I record them in my book. They are precious to me. And the psalm ends with this idea of deliverance. God has delivered him from David from his enemies. He says, I must perform my vows to you, O God. I will render thank offerings to you, for you have delivered my soul from death. Yes, my feet from falling, that I may walk before God in the light of life. And this is comforting to me because another bit of truth that I speak to myself is that as difficult as these emotions are, that when you're currently feeling them, you have to tell yourself the truth, at least I do, that this is passing. It's transient. It will very, very naturally, there's an ebb and flow, and it will abate, and more energized feelings, more positive feelings will return, and I will have creative energy again. I will be able to do my job that, I have deadlines I've got to meet. And when I'm in a depressed state, it's hard for me to be productive and be creative and to really be emotionally connected with someone, particularly if someone's going through a difficult time or working through a problem, and I'm trying to help them and be present in that. I feel like when I'm in that depressed state, I have low reserves, right? Low to draw from. So I said, here's my steps to deal with it. Number one, I accept my feelings. I move into my feelings. I receive them and say, this is normal. I'm going to feel what I'm feeling, even though it's uncomfortable. Number two, I invite God into the space with me. He cares deeply. He keeps my tears in a bottle. He records them all in his book. Number three, I recognize that these emotions are transient, that I will see the light of day. I will be delivered from this. Not in my time, oftentimes, but in God's time, in a natural time, and I learn to be patient. And in that process, I slow down. I allow myself the freedom not to be as productive, and that's okay. Just slow down. And allow God to do a deeper work in me as a result. What is God teaching me about himself? And one of the things, I've said this before, one of the things that God teaches me in these times is that sometimes I am captured by the idea of the good things God provides. And I love those things, which is natural. But when there's an absence of a feeling of those good things, I wonder, where is God? And God reminds me, I'm right here. And he reveals a bit more about his character and his person that is good, no matter if I'm feeling good feelings or good emotions or positive energy right now. God still is good. So he's revealing a part of his character to me in the midst of my low, depressed emotions that I wouldn't know otherwise, I don't think. And so I press into that reality that God is good and he is with me, and I don't need to just focus on the good things God provides me. They'll return, those feelings will return, but in the midst of my difficult, uncomfortable feelings, I can still reveal and press, or it's revealed to me, and I can press into the reality that God is still good, that he is enough, that I don't serve him for the good feelings, although I love those good feelings. I serve him because of who he is, and he is enough. And the last thing that I do, last thing I'm going to share, there's lots of things I do. I have lots of strategies because, this is my first rodeo, right, to experience these depressed emotions, is that I connect with other people. It's important for me to connect on an emotional level with other people. People that I trust, people that are close to me, and that I have already taken time to invest in. And I just put a little plug in for that is so helpful. But the reality is, if we haven't invested in those kinds of relationships, sometimes we wait for those relationships to naturally develop, and we kind of look around and why isn't anybody investing in me, and so on, and we get a little uptight and frustrated or angry or disappointed or all those things, and we're kind of missing the component of our own responsibility to create those relationships, us to invest in another human being and create those opportunities and pursue depth with another human being. Sometimes that's what it takes, is us being the instigator, us being the initiator, and we have to invest in those relationships. And I'm so grateful for those investments because, and I have that with a variety of people. So if I'm in this depressed state and I want to move towards someone else in a deeper emotional connection, I don't have just one person in my life that fulfills that for me. They may not be available during that time, but I have several people who are like that in my life that I have taken time to invest in. They have taken time to invest in me, and I can appeal to, I can connect with, and that's so good, so healthy. So that's another encouragement I have. So how do we deal with depressed emotions and so on? Those are a few of my strategies that I think might be helpful, and I thought it was fun to read those words in Psalm 56 this morning, which were also very comforting to me. I loved them. It reminded me of our girls when they were little, and it was good stuff. So I hope that even if you are dealing with maybe something similar as I was the last couple of days, I pray that you move close to God, move into those emotions. These are the wide range of the beauty of what our heart can experience, and we need to experience it all, the full range, for us to really understand God and move deeply in relationships with people and with God himself. And so, Lord bless you today. Praying for you today. I'll see you again tomorrow morning.